We're back and ready to apply our latex prosthetic. I am still in my nasty gross clothes. Remember, latex likes to stick on all these things. Blood and guts gets all over it. Don't wear your favorite things. I'm certainly not. So this video is gonna be all about how we apply them. So you should have your latex pieces. You should have them now prepped and ready to be put on. Know that anywhere you're gonna put them, anytime you put glue and adhesives on your bodies, you need to, one, make sure you're not allergic. So please test them in a small area. I'll go over a little bit that more as we get in the video. And also make sure that your skin is nice and clean. Please no moisturizer, no oily products. You want it nice and clean. Glue and adhesives are always gonna stick better to skin that is dry and free of product. So please prep skin. Reminder, you can put them anywhere. I will be doing my arm and my hand. It's easier to look at and I can work on it. Please don't put them on your dominant hand unless you want a real big challenge. I will talk a lot about the different glues that we can use. The glue that's available in your kit is spirit gum. If you've ever used it before, it is the most traditional of the theatrical glues. It smells bad and it's not that sticky, which means it's great for coming off, but sometimes doesn't keep things on as well. But you do have that in there. You also have the remover, so please have that handy. It's the spirit gum remover. So spirit gum glue, spirit gum remover, that's what you'll need. A reminder on the disclaimer, if you are allergic to latex, there is an alternate assignment. Please reach out to me via Canvas and I will make sure that you have something that does not have latex in it. I'm not trying to kill anybody. Once you apply and start painting your prosthetic, I really want you to lean in, abstract, crazy, over the top, asymmetrical kind of nastiness. Leave the perfectionist somewhere else. Put her in a corner. Yeah? What I want you to focus on is all of that. All of those things will give you depth, dimension, and believability. You have to have those things for gore. And honestly, if you don't like how it's coming out, just put a lot of blood on it, nobody will know. Promise, they'll know. They won't know. It just, blood distracts from everything. Blood will stain your skin. Blood has lots of colorant in it, reminder? So just know, you sometimes might come out of this looking a little red, take a couple days to take a shower and get it off. The same with the bruising. Bruising kind of stayed around for a little bit. Our latex is dried, it's the next morning, and we are ready to take it off the paper. But first we need a few things. I have my pieces that I've created, my palette knife, fingernail works. I have my big powder brush and just one of my small powder eyeshadow brushes, and my powder. You cannot just remove these. Latex sticks to each other. You can feel it, see, sticky. You have to powder it. And you want to use a nice good amount of powder. So what we're gonna do is dump our powder on top. Powder, 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 powder. I know it seems like a lot. You will use the rest. So that's the top, yeah, no longer sticky. Now what you're gonna do is find an edge, if I can ever find one. You're gonna find an edge and start peeling up. As you peel, I take a little bit of my powder and it's gonna go underneath. So I peel and powder at the same time. If you do not do that and put powder underneath the bottom, it will roll on itself and create really thick edges. And you don't want really thick edges. Will turn out something like that. Let's do the next one. There we go. Our second piece. Let's go for our third piece over here. Now we have 3 pieces we can play with. So now we're gonna trim the excess. We want it to lay nice and flat, but these little thin edges need to go. So very gently, you're gonna find a pair of scissors and I'm gonna start trimming. I'm leaving a little bit of a lip, but not too much. And that's our first one. Let's do a cut. You're just giving a little bit of a haircut. There's our second one. And our third piece. Just want to make sure there's no little bits hanging off. And it's nice and flat so you can apply it. You can see I have thicker areas, those won't move as well, but the really thin inside edges are going to allow this to move really well on my skin. So now they're prepped. It is now time to glue our pieces down. I will be doing all 3 of them. You can do one, multiple, whatever floats your boat. And I will be using my hand and my arm a little bit. It's just easier for me to work on and for you to see. So what I have here, I have my 3 pieces that we've trimmed. I have some of the Q-tips from your kit, a little bit of our latex and spirit gum put on one of our, this is just the palette. It can be wax paper, a paper plate, just a non-porous surface. Some of our Frankenstein sponges that I've just hulked apart. Some of our powder and my powder brush. These are the things I'm gonna use. So first, let's talk about spirit gum. The spirit gum is the little one that you get in your kit. It has an applicator. I've been burned too many times in the past where the spirit gum gets sort of affected and non-sticky anymore. So I always tend to pour it out of the bottle as opposed to using it directly from the bottle. Anytime you get an oily substance back into it, spirit gum gets very unhappy. And it's already not the most gluey of the glues. So just be careful, yeah? I'm also not gonna use this directly on my eye or right up to my eye or like in my mouth. So don't do that, yeah? And then the latex is not gonna be to apply it. It's gonna be to get down our edges. So we're gonna start, and I'm gonna take my pieces. I'm gonna kind of plan out where I'm gonna put them because there are gonna be so many that are gonna happen. Maybe like that. Some craziness. Yeah, I'm gonna see, so let's start with this big one. So I know how big, I'm kind of measuring on my hand how much. I'm gonna put a little bit of the spirit gum there, but I'm gonna start with putting a little of the spirit gum on the back. And I wanna get as close to the edges as I can, that's the important part. But just a little bit of glue. You gotta be careful, you don't wanna fold in any of those edges. And spirit gum is a glue that works, it works by activating when it gets tacky. So it needs dry time. So I don't put this directly on my skin. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple seconds. So I sit it down there. So you have two options with spirit gum: dry time or agitation. So I can put a little on my skin. This is just to help the center part. And I can agitate it. You'll see nothing yet. Over time, it's gonna get stickier and stickier. And that's maximum. It doesn't really get any stickier than that. That's great. You're gonna leave it. I'm gonna wait a couple seconds and then I can apply the piece to it. So let me put glue on the other two pieces so they're ready. Remember to get all the way to the edges. Be nice and careful. If you get it on your hands, you have spirit gum remover, but honestly, alcohol works way better. So just 99% or high grade alcohol, not the stuff you drink, the stuff that sanitizes. You can get it at makeup stores, is the 99%. All on my pieces, and let's find little places I can put them. I'll do one here. That'll be my bullet wound. Maybe I'll put my cut over here. I can agitate those. So I'm gonna give a little bit of dry time. I'm gonna grab my alcohol so I can clean my hands off. So I have little bottles, rubbing alcohol. I just spray it on my fingers and it gets rid of all the stickies. This will clean and sanitize all your makeup. It will also get rid of any stickies, residue. A lot of times the spirit gum remover is very oily and oil-based. This is not, so I enjoy this better. But there are places you don't want to be just spraying rubbing alcohol on your face. It's not a fun game. So once it's sort of tacky, these are setting up, I'm now gonna take them, lay them gently down, and then press them into the skin. You can kind of take the back of a brush and kind of roll it. This one, pick it up gently. Press it down gently. Same thing, let me pick up this one that I put awkwardly over there. Lay it down, press it down. And the great thing about any of these glues and using the latex is that now this is stuck, right? It's not coming off. I can do a whole scene and I'm not gonna have to worry about it. I could have it on all day and I'm not gonna worry, it's there. It moves with my skin, it looks a lot more realistic. But now we have to worry about the edges. So what we're gonna do is build them up with latex. So that's why I have my little bit of latex over here. Just gonna clean up, oh, I'm still sticky. So sticky today. Get off. So we are ready. I'm ready to build them up with the latex. So Frankenstein sponge, dab, dab to this corner. And then you're gonna dab small layers around the outside. This is gonna help build up small layers. You want it to be able to dry quickly. Otherwise you need your blow dryer. That's why you don't want to use too much latex. Small layers all the way around the outside. So the thinner you make your piece, the less latex you have to put over there. See, I already have this piece wants to stick up. Oh, maybe I can get him off. Nope, he wants to be there. He's a feature now. So the thinner you make your piece, the less you have to hide the edges. Now, do you always have to hide the edges? No, you can leave your edges as is. The further away you are, the less they're gonna be able to see this. The closer you get, the more realistic it has to be. But you can already see I'm drying over here. Yeah, we're turning a little bit clear. So I wanna make sure it all turns clear before I go to the next step, otherwise you're trapping moisture in the middle. So let it go clear, and then we're gonna apply a second coat. And you can already see areas where it's really just sort of blending into my skin. So now we're on to our second coat. Again, thin layers just around the edges. This one's ready. I'm gonna do another little coat over here. This one has slightly larger edges, so it is a little bit harder to get it looking perfect, but that's fine. We'll make it a feature. Yeah, and now we get to wait for them to dry. So you're just gonna let them dry, and then we're gonna powder them. So give me a few minutes and then we'll come back and you'll watch me powder. Let's paint it. So what I have out here, I have my 2 kinds of blood. This is my fresh scab. This is my liquid blood. This is a 50-50 fresh scab and liquid blood. These are my bruise colors I had. Yeah, I'm gonna add from our bruise wheel. Let's clean off this grossness. I'm gonna add a little bit of my red. So the colors I'm mostly gonna use today are this maroon, or a little bit more, and the red. I'm just gonna put it to the side. And then if you wanna do burns, you're gonna have a little bit of, in this one, this pinky coral color. Just gonna add that in. Oh, so that's sort of the palette. You can bruise your stuff, you can burn it, you can just make it cuts, but that's what we're gonna use. First things first though, this is not my skin tone. So we need to address that. Now the more blood, the more you're gonna burn it and make it look like under skin as opposed to actual, like the top layer of skin, the less you have to actually make it your skin tone. So you don't have to be aggressive, but we do need to actually address the fact that this is not anywhere close to what I am. So I have the color that I sort of decided I liked the best. And then I do have my other 2 colors that the kit came with. And I have my highlight and my shadow. And what that's gonna do is it allows me to match whatever color I am. Because a lot of times your arms or hands, parts of your faces, any parts of your other parts of your body might not be the same color. So I sort of test and adjust. I'm using one of my ripped sponges because it's gonna give us texture. And I just test. It's actually not bad. And I'm just getting a little bit of a layer. I can go a little bit lighter. A little bit mixing. And the good thing is if you don't like it, it's just makeup. This thing is now on your skin. You just make it all go away. Yeah? I can wipe it with this baby wipe if I need to. And I don't have to focus on the inside. Those are gonna be different colors. I'm really focusing on the transition areas. And if I need to, right? Like this cut looks real, you can already see the difference. It's not quite me. And you're just gonna play around with it, right? Different colors do different things. The longer you spend on this, the more it's gonna read correctly. I'm again not trying to make you a 45-minute video, I'm trying to make it clear and concise. So I will speed through some of these things, but the overall idea is to make it your skin tone. And anytime you don't like it, just wipe it off. Yeah, try a different color, see what you like. It's trial and error, that's what it is. So I've made it as much as I'm going to make it my skin tone, because you're gonna see I'm gonna add lots of stuff on the top of it. And now we get to start other colors, but you want to powder in between because you don't wanna mix. A lot of these colors have light colors in them, so they're kind of creamy. And if they mix with your bruise and your makeup, they make it look kind of milky, and you don't want that. So I powder it again. And now I'm gonna start with a little bit of our colors. And I always paint first with colors to give it depth. If you just shove the blood on, you don't have any sort of background, right? Think about a painter. It's not all one color, unless you're like really super abstract. You'll also see that I am using disposables. You can use all your regular brushes, but I tend to not like to get blood and grossness all over them. So you will see I use a lot of disposables for this. Now I'm gonna start, you're gonna use, think about this, your red is your highlight, this is kind of your shadow, this is your accent color. So we're gonna start in anywhere really deep inside, you're gonna shove it in, and you want to not make it all one color. You want weirdness. Ins and outs and textury moments. This is not like the fantasy makeup where it's all about being a perfectionist. It must be perfect. This is gonna look better if it's not perfect, okay? Better if it's not perfect. My bullet wound, inside. And then coming towards a little bit out. Inside of my cut. And then coming out. And I'm just finding different areas that I want to make really dark. You can already see it has a nice texture to it. Now I'm going to go with my lighter red, sort of my blood red. And that's sort of that highlight. Depth and dimension. And that generally is higher up. It more simulates blood as opposed to scabby, shadowy areas. Oh, not all that. I'm just gonna make these two kind of match because I got really, this one hand just has just been through a lot. Yeah, some over here. Just gonna make them messy. I'm distracting. I have harder edges over here, so I'm bringing your eye away from it, is what I'm doing. Now, if you want it to look kind of scabby and or singed, that's what's gonna be your dark purple. If you want it to be a little bit more burn related, that's where I go in with this coral. It's like a top layer of skin. It sort of has a fresh look. Yellow is gonna make it look infected. You can also bruise them. Just play around with the different colors and see what you like. But this is always gonna give us that sort of singed aspect. That's our dark blacky purple. You see how much depth I can already give it with just the makeup. And from far away, this will read just fine. You don't even need the blood. But you can keep playing. If you don't like it, wipe it off. Just gonna add some more. Yeah, I'll show you a little bit of yellow. Put some yellow on this. One side's a little more yellow. You can always add that onto here. Here, it's just gonna make it look a little bit gross and infected. So nastiness reigns. Now it's time for the blood. And I generally use a Q-tip or my personal favorite, a palette knife to get in there. Pointy end if you want to be detail work. I tend to like this big chunky end. And I start with my fresh scab. And you're gonna see that I do some kind of fun, weird tricks. So this one kind of goes all the way in. I fill it up. It's all kind of nasty. Depth. Yeah, this is a darker color than our regular blood. You can sculpt with it a little bit more. So here, all right. Nice and gross, yeah. I'll show you what this one looks like if I do it with a little bit of this kind. It's just a little bit more watery, so it gives us a little bit wetter look. And then what I will take is I have my baby wipe here. You're gonna see weird things. I'm gonna go literally stick it in and baby wipe it out. Yeah, it gives us lots of depth. So baby wipe on. And I just keep doing that till I get a look that I like. It gives us that sort of wet skin feel. Yeah, and you can start seeing the little bits. Here's this one. You can also add a little more liquidy if you need to. This one needs a little more liquid. You can also do straight liquid. And let it pour, whichever way you want to let it pour. You can pour out of it. If you want to stop a drip, you go from the bottom and you kind of catch it. You can also just go straight in. Yeah, messy is better. And I can just keep adding, can always keep going. I can use my stipple sponge. Yeah, see, like this, it's a little bit thin because it doesn't have any of the fresh scab, doesn't have a lot of painting. Add those little bits. This is the like, just keep going, it's gonna be okay moment. You can keep adding colors if you want. Be like, I'm gonna bruise it up a little bit here and make it a little bit more trauma-y. So whatever you need, I'm gonna do a little bit of the, this is a little bit of my blacky navy. So it's a little bit of that sort of burn section. Is what I've sort of transitioned this one into. And you see, you can't even see the edges on that one. And you can always go back in. And you can also make it, fill it back up and make it bleed. It's really just about going ham, guys. You can see that I just attack it. Don't be afraid. It's when you stop and you get too much perfectionism in there that all of a sudden it looks not so good and you're upset. This one I can fill up. And you can let it drip. Asymmetry is the best. Playing with it is the best. And then sometimes if you don't like it, if you've done all this work and you think it's really ugly, wipe it. Sometimes they even look better. Yeah, and I can start over and keep wiping. It'll stay on. You can see it's not going anywhere. And I can do it again. Do whatever I want to it. Yeah. This is also the first step in cleaning. So that's our next step. You notice it gets really messy. It looks like a bloodbath on the table. So let me contain. Now you see what I'm saying about blood. I'm just one person and I've made a hot mess over here. So first steps first when I'm cleaning and trying to remove any of these things, I really go in and try to get the big chunks off. Now you can see my edge is already starting to lift. That's good. Just getting big chunks. Ooh, so sticky. Now latex prosthetics, because they're not foam, They are just latex, they're non-porous. They are reusable, so you can potentially take this off and reuse it again. You can see I'm already stained. That's my skin, this is the latex. So you just need an oily product to help get it off. So this is Spirit Gum Remover. It's very oily, sort of breaks down the glue, but you're gonna have to find a point because we sealed everything with the latex. You're gonna have to pull up the latex a little bit. You'll see that I pour this into something else. Find an edge, and I'm gonna work my edge. If you have coconut oil, any sort of oil makeup removers, this will help as well. To get the glue and the glue residue, you need the remover, or you need the alcohol. I'll show you that. But this will help, especially if you've put it somewhere a little bit hairy, like my arm. You need something that's gonna help you release it from, something oily to help release it from your hair. So just go under, yeah, peel it back. It shouldn't hurt. If you've put enough glue, it does not hurt. Only time it hurts, it gets stuck on my hairs, and that's where I get something oily and help it come off. And like, that one's off. Technically, I can wipe this down, I can wash it, I can peel the little glue pieces, and I can use that again. It's really attractive, I know. But let's keep going. Bigger piece. Yeah. The alcohol works too. You just open up an edge, and I generally shoot it right in. Yeah, and it starts working right away. But now it's stuck in my hair. That's the oil product. And it comes right off. Nice and gross and disgusting. Let me get this last one off, and then you've done it. You applied your latex prosthetic. Hope you have fun. I hope you had so much fun getting gory and nasty with me. I certainly did. I do enjoy it. Now, please try not to freak out any of your family members. You have made it through our last makeup application. Now is the time to go finish up the class and congratulate yourself on a great semester.